I stood in my kitchen, coffee mug halfway to my lips when my phone buzzed with a Facebook notification. A friend had tagged me in a photo. "Doesn't this woman look exactly like your sister?" the comment read. My hand froze. I set the mug down slow, careful, like the counter might crack if I moved too fast. I opened the photo. A woman stood outside a flower shop in Sacramento, laughing at something off camera. Same crooked smile, same small scar above her left eyebrow, the one Emily got falling off a bike when she was 9. But Emily disappeared 11 years ago. She was 22. She left one Tuesday morning for a job interview and never came home. No calls, no texts, nothing. My mother cried herself sick for 2 years straight. My father stopped saying the name altogether, like saying it might make the loss more real. I searched, police searched. Nothing ever turned up. I zoomed into the photo until the pixels blurred. The name tag under it read Rachel Monroe, not Emily. Someone else's face, someone else's name. But those eyes? I'd know those eyes anywhere. My hands were shaking now. I grabbed my keys off the counter. I wasn't finishing my coffee this morning. I called my friend Marcus, the one who tagged me, my voice tight and fast. "Where did you find this? Who is she?" "Relax, man. She's just some woman who did my cousin's wedding flowers. Why? You okay?" I couldn't answer right away. My throat felt like it had closed halfway shut. "That's my sister, Emily." Silence on the other end. Then, carefully, "Your sister who's been missing since 11 years, yeah." Marcus gave me the name of the flower shop, same city, same woman. I hung up and sat down at my kitchen table, staring at my own reflection in the dark screen of my phone. 11 years of nothing. 11 years of my mother lighting a candle every Tuesday, the day Emily vanished. 11 years of my father refusing therapy, refusing closure, refusing to believe she was gone for good. And now, a photo, a flower shop, a stranger's name stitched over my sister's face like a mask that almost fit. I thought about calling my parents first. My thumb hovered over my mother's contact. I didn't call. Not yet. Because if I was wrong, I'd be reopening a wound that had barely scarred over. And if I was right, I needed to see her myself first. I booked a flight to Sacramento that same afternoon. 3 hours in the air felt like 3 years. I kept pulling up the photo on my phone, studying her face until the image blurred from how many times I zoomed in. Somewhere over Nevada, my mind drifted back to the last morning I ever saw Emily. She'd stood in our parents' kitchen wearing a navy blue blazer, way too formal for a Tuesday, her hair pulled back tight. She was nervous, I remember that much. She kept tapping her fingers on the counter, this little habit she had when something felt bigger than she let on. "Wish me luck," she said, grabbing her keys. "You don't need luck, you're the smartest person I know," I told her. She smiled at that, small, tired, almost sad. I didn't think anything of it then. I was 24, wrapped up in my own life, my own job, my own girlfriend at the time. I waved her off like it was any other day. It wasn't any other day. She never made it to that interview. Her car was found abandoned near a gas station 40 miles from home, keys still in the ignition, purse still on the seat. She simply vanished. The plane landed, and I went straight to the flower shop, my suitcase still rolling behind me on the sidewalk. Through the front window, I saw, arranging white lilies into a glass vase, her hair shorter now, a little braid threaded through it that hadn't been there before. My chest tightened. My legs almost didn't carry me through the door. A bell chimed above me. She looked up. Her eyes met mine. For one full second, nothing happened. Then something shifted in her face. Recognition maybe, or fear, or both tangled together so tight I couldn't tell them apart. "Can I help you?" she asked. Her voice was careful, guarded. It wasn't Emily's voice exactly. Emily used to talk fast, words tripping over each other when she got excited. This woman spoke slow, measured, like every sentence had been rehearsed first. "Rachel?" I said, testing the name like it was a foreign object in my mouth. "Or should I call you Emily?" Her hand stopped moving over the flowers. The lily she was holding slipped, petals scattering across the counter like snow.
"I think you have the wrong person," she said. But she hadn't asked who Emily was, and that told me everything. Her face had gone pale, but she held her ground, arms crossing tight over her chest like she was bracing against wind only she could feel. "I don't know who you're talking about," she said again, quieter this time. "Emily Carter," I said, "born March 14th, scar above your left eyebrow from falling off your bike on Maple Street when you were 9. Our mom still lights a candle every Tuesday because that's the day you disappeared." Her breath caught. I watched it happen, the exact moment the mask cracked. Her eyes filled, but she blinked hard, fighting it back. "Please," she whispered, "please just go." "Go? I've spent 11 years thinking you were dead." My voice cracked on the last word. A customer near the register glanced over, and Rachel, Emily, grabbed my arm and pulled me toward the back room, away from listening ears. The storage room smelled like damp soil and cut stems. She shut the door behind us, leaning against it like she needed it to hold her up. "You can't be here," she said. "You don't understand what you're walking into." "Then explain it to me." She looked at me for a long moment, tears finally slipping free. "If I tell you," she said, "you might get us both killed." I stared at her, waiting for her to take it back, to laugh it off as some kind of joke. She didn't. "Killed," I repeated. "Emily, what are you talking about?" She wiped her face fast, like she was angry at her own tears for showing up. "I go by Rachel now. You need to call me Rachel, even here, even alone." "Why?" She glanced at the door, like she expected someone to be listening on the other side. "The interview I left for that morning, it wasn't a normal job. I answered an ad for a bookkeeping position, cash pay, no questions asked. I was drowning in debt back then. You remember, I never told anyone how bad it got." I didn't remember. I hadn't known. The job was real, but the company wasn't legitimate. I found out too late what I was actually doing the books for. Money laundering, people connected to men who don't let people just walk away. My stomach dropped. "So I ran," she said. "I changed my name. I built a new life. I thought if I ever went back, if anyone ever found out I was alive, they'd come looking for me. And now you've found me." She looked at me, eyes wide with fear. "Which means they might find me too." I sat down on an overturned bucket, my legs suddenly unreliable. None of this fit the sister I remembered. Emily hated risk. She double-checked locked doors. She never even jaywalked. "Why didn't you come home once it was safe, Emily? It's been 11 years. She let out a bitter laugh, short and hollow. "Safe? I never knew if it was safe. I moved 4 times in the first 2 years alone. Different city, different name each time. Rachel Monroe is actually my 3rd identity." "Mom thinks you're dead, Emily. She lights a candle every single Tuesday." Her face crumpled at that. "Don't," she said. "Don't do that to me." "Do what? Tell you the truth?" "I think about her every day," she said, voice breaking. "I think about all of you every single day. You think leaving was easy? You think I wanted this life?" I wanted to believe her. Some part of me already did, but something didn't sit right. If she'd been running from dangerous men for 11 years, moving city to city, why was she still using a real business license, real tax records, a public flower shop with her photo tagged online for anyone to find? If she was really hiding, she was doing a terrible job of it, and that thought scared me more than anything else she'd said. I didn't say what I was thinking out loud. Instead, I asked something simpler. If it's this dangerous, why open a shop under your own photo? Why let strangers tag you online?
Emily's eyes flickered, just for a second, before she recovered. "I got careless," she said. "I thought enough time had passed." It wasn't a good answer. It wasn't even a real one. I stood up slow. "I want to believe you," I said, "but something isn't adding up." "You think I'm lying to you?" Her voice rose, sharp and wounded. "I think you're scared of something," I said. "I just don't think it's what you're telling me." She went quiet.
the kind of quiet that says more than words. Then a knock came at the storage room door, firm, 3 raps. Emily's whole body went rigid. "That's my business partner," she whispered fast. "You need to leave, now, out the back." "Emily, please," she begged, already pushing me toward a rear exit hidden behind stacked crates. "Get a hotel somewhere far from here. Don't use your real name. I'll find you tonight and explain everything. I promise." I hesitated at the door, looking back at her one last time. "Who's your business partner, Emily?" She didn't answer. I checked into a motel on the edge of the city, paid in cash like she told me, and sat on the edge of the bed with my heart hammering. Hours passed. No call, no text, no Emily. Around midnight, headlights swept across the curtains, and I heard a car door shut outside. I opened the door before she could knock. She slipped inside fast, glancing over her shoulder first. "I couldn't get away sooner," she said, breathless. "He watches everything I do." "He? Your business partner?" She sat down heavy on the small motel chair. "His name is Daniel. I met him 2 years after I ran. He helped me get my new identity, helped me start the shop. I thought he was protecting me." "Thought?" Her hands twisted together in her lap. "I found paperwork last month, insurance policies, loan documents with my forged signature on them. He's been using my identity, my new one, to take out debt in my name. Rachel Monroe owes almost $200,000 I never borrowed." I felt my jaw tighten. "So the men from 11 years ago might not even be looking for me anymore," she admitted. "Daniel's the danger now, not my past, him." The room went silent, except for the hum of the motel's old air conditioner. "He's the one who could kill me," she whispered, "not them." I looked at my sister, really looked at her, and for the first time since walking into that flower shop, I saw Emily underneath Rachel, scared, cornered, alone. "We go to the police, tonight." "No," her answer came instant, sharp. "The second I walk into a police station, my old identity gets flagged. Everything unravels. The money laundering case from 11 years ago. I was a witness to things I never reported. I could be charged too, even after all this time. So what, we just let Daniel walk away with $200,000 in your name? I need proof first, real proof, not just paperwork I found in a drawer, something that ties him directly to forging my signature, something a lawyer can actually use." "Where is it?" "His office, back of the flower shop. There's a locked cabinet he never lets me near." I felt something steady settle into me, some old protective instinct from being her big brother, buried under 11 years of grief and now cracking back open. "Then we get into that cabinet," I said. Emily looked at me like she wanted to argue, then stopped herself. "Tomorrow morning, before he opens the shop. It's our only window." I nodded. "I'm not losing you twice." We got to the shop before sunrise, the street empty except for a delivery truck idling 2 blocks down. Emily's hands trembled as she unlocked the front door. Inside smelled like roses and cold coffee from the day before.
She led me to the back office and knelt by a gray filing cabinet, pulling a hidden key taped beneath the bottom drawer. It clicked open. Inside were folders stuffed with loan agreements, insurance forms, and a notarized signature page. Her signature, but slightly wrong. The loops too smooth, too practiced. Forged. Then I found something else. A folder labeled with my mother's name. My stomach turned to ice. Inside were documents showing a life insurance policy taken out on Emily, naming Daniel as sole beneficiary, filed just 3 months ago. "He's not just stealing money," I said, voice shaking. "He's planning to make you disappear for real this time." Emily's face went white as the papers in her hand. A car door slammed outside. "That's him," she whispered. "He's early." I grabbed the folder, shoving it into my jacket. "We need to go, now." But the front bell chimed before we reached the door. Daniel stood in the doorway, keys still in his hand, eyes locking onto us both. "Well," he said calmly, "this is a surprise." Daniel's eyes moved from me to the folder bulging in my jacket, and whatever calm he'd walked in with drained right out of his face.
"Give that back," he said, stepping closer, his voice low and controlled in a way that scared me more than shouting would have. "It's over, Daniel," Emily said, stepping in front of me. "I know about the insurance policy. I know what you were planning." "You don't know anything," he snapped. "I know enough to burn your whole life down," Emily said, and for the first time since I'd found her, I heard my sister's real voice, steady, unshaken, the girl who used to stand up to bullies for me in grade school. He lunged for the folder. I grabbed his arm and shoved him back hard enough that he stumbled into a display of vases, glass shattering across the floor. Emily was already dialing 911, her voice sharp and clear as she gave the address. Daniel ran. He didn't get far. Police caught him 2 blocks away, the forged documents from the folder enough to hold him on fraud and attempted insurance fraud charges, with more charges building once investigators dug deeper. 3 weeks later, I stood in my parents' living room and watched my mother's knees buckle when Emily walked through the door. She didn't say a word. She just held on and cried into her daughter's shoulder like she was making up for 11 years in one single hug. Emily testified, cooperated with investigators, and slowly began rebuilding her life under her real name again. Some nights she still flinched at knocks on doors. Healing wasn't instant, but she was home. And every Tuesday now, instead of lighting a candle for a daughter she'd lost, my mother sets an extra plate at the table for the daughter who finally came back.